Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Kat and I love sci-fi and fantasy books. So today we are diving into a video that I have been wanting to do for so long now. Like I've honestly been waiting for months for the last book to come in so that I'm able to do this. But today we are reading 3 months of illumicrate books. So I did this a few months ago. It was so much fun and it's really something I wanted to do for a while now. So I'm subscribed to illumicrate, and like a lot of us, sometimes reading books that come in is not exactly my strong suit. So instead of having like all of these unread books sitting on my shelf and feeling terrible about it because these can be a little expensive, I decided to start this series where every 3 months I read the last 3 books that came in and let you guys know, is this subscription worth it? And should you check out these books? So what books are we looking at today? Let's see. So like I said, there's 3 books, 3 months, and this is starting in February 2023 all through May 2023. Or no, through April actually, I believe so. So first book that we have, Song of Silver, Flame Like Night by Emily Wenzel. I feel like the recurring theme of this also is going to be every edition is gorgeous, this is spectacular, and I'm like in awe of how beautiful all of these are. So we're following 2 people in this colonized land where basically magic has been stamped out. So now we're following them as an adventure, I believe, to kind of reclaim their land or to do something with magic. I didn't look too much into it. I don't really like looking too much into these books besides like the base because I don't know, I'm someone who likes to go into books like knowing very little. So this is book 1 that we'll be reading. And the next book, this would have been March 2023, is Long Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. So this one, it is in the Cursed Kingdom of Ithaca. There's 12 maidens who are hung as a gift to Poseidon to break a curse, I believe. So we're following a woman who was selected as one of the maidens to be killed, but for some reason she doesn't actually die when she's being brought to the executioner. And then I believe she goes on an adventure to try and break this curse on her land. Greek retellings are like 50-50 chance for me. Like sometimes I find them fantastic, sometimes boring as hell. So this is one that I think I'm going into with the least expectations of enjoying. And then the last book, this would have been April, is Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. I love the space theme. I just like, honestly, I wish that all of my sci-fi books had stuff like this because I'm obsessed. So in this one, obviously it's a sci-fi book. So we're following all of her life. Kerr has trained for the day she can avenge the destruction of planet Earth. Raised on Gaia Station alongside the last scripts of humanity, she's one of the best warriors of her generation, the sword of a dead planet. Then Command assigns her brother to a certain death and relegates her to the nursery to bear sons, and she knows she must take humanity's revenge into her own hands. I am excited. I can't wait. Any type of like space opera, space like war story, space like adventure, I'm always in. I think this is the one that I'm going to enjoy the most, and it's definitely the one that I'm most excited to get to. So first thing picking up is Song of Silver, Flame Like Night, and I'll let you guys know as soon as I have an idea of what's happening and what I'm feeling.
Let me try, we just go with the motions. Close your eyes, ease your mind.
Hi, I'm very unsure how I'm feeling about this one so far. I'm roughly 40-ish% in and a lot's happened. There's been like some action, there's been some magic, like we're figuring out a bunch of stuff, but I'm like not really that into what's happening at all. And I find that I keep getting like confused about what's going on. So we're following this woman, Lan, whose their society 12 years before was conquered by this group of people. And since then, people of her background have been very heavily oppressed, and like so much of their culture has been erased, and mostly they're just like living under this oppressive regime and trying to get by. So she works in a tea house as a singer, and one day there is an officer who comes in and tries to buy her basically, and she obviously doesn't want that. So when she starts to fight back against him, she somehow releases magic. And this is the first time she's ever done this. She didn't know that this was possible, but her releasing the magic also notified several other like officers within the army around that there was this magic being used. So then this like crazy evil sorcerer came in and tried to kill her, ended up slaughtering everyone who worked at the tea house to get to her. But she managed to get away with this guy who's was posing as an officer in the army, but we're not entirely sure of exactly who he is yet. But he manages to help her escape, and now they're on the run from all of the officers and going to his magical school, it seems. So I don't really, I've been kind of struggling to follow what happens because I haven't really been finding it that interesting. And I'm like not particularly connecting with the writing. I don't find it's like very easy for me to get into or easy for me to stay super invested in. So it's really been like a struggle to keep going and to really like be aware of what's happening. The writing like definitely feels a lot younger than I typically go for. Even though I think the main character is supposed to be around like 18 or 19, it feels very young. And yeah, so it seems like it's going to be this adventure of her like trying to figure out where this magic came from. It's assumed that her mother had it as well and passed it on to her, and that's why her mother was murdered however many years ago. But it seems like it's definitely going to be like a journey of her trying to figure out her magic, figure out her family history, and perhaps them teaming up to start to take down this regime. Yeah, I'm not feeling super invested into it right now. I'm not really into anything about it. Like it's fine. It just isn't really that gripping, or it's not really like grabbing my attention that much. And even just like how long it took me to really understand what was going on, that's always not a good sign. So it's been like a slightly longer read than I thought it would be too. Like I assumed that this would be a fairly quick read, but it's taking me forever. Like those 200 pages took me like 3 or 4 days. So I'm hoping that I can actually get myself to focus later on today and like get through a significant chunk of this, because I do just kind of want to be done, which is, I hate when I get to this point of a book where I'm like, I just kind of want to be done it and on to the next thing. That's like, I already know in my mind, like I'm mentally resigning to the fact that I don't think I'm going to enjoy it, which I hate. But yeah, I will check in a bit and let you guys know how it's going.
For a moment, need no smoke that make you feel you floating. You know joke or you pressure, you know it. I don't fall to the pressure, I be handling business. Get it finished, no extras, don't get into specifics. Wave maker, I came up out the Pacific. So you don't trust what you can't see. Some things are left to believe in. I just wanna know you believe me. You feel nothing good in life would be this easy. You don't trust what you can't see, but some things are too good to believe in. I just wanna know you believe me, yeah. How could I lie to you? Why you tripping? I just want serenity, so you can miss me with the negativity, and you can witness all the possibility.
Hi, so I finally finished reading Song of Silver, Flame Like Night. And unfortunately, it was just really disappointing for me. It ended up not being overly interesting, and I felt like it just followed a very formulaic plot and didn't really do anything interesting enough with it to really make me stay interested, I guess. Like from where we left off when I last updated, we're following Lan and this guy Wen, who go to this magical school after he rescued her from an army, and they're just on this adventure to figure out the mystery of her powers and get her, like, find this potentially message that her mother left her on her death. And it just ended up being like a very basic plot story that you could really see the steps that it was going through. It was incredibly info dumpy, in just like, it felt like you were just sitting in a lecture learning all of this information, which did not result in an engaging story, unfortunately. And I really just could not get into it. I didn't particularly like the characters. They felt very flat, very like just basic, like girl and boy on a quest, and of course they're gonna fall for each other because that's what people on quests do. And otherwise, like, I didn't really think there was that much interesting with the characters themselves, with the world, with the magic. There was definitely things done that could have been interesting. I just personally could not get invested or could not get myself to really want to care or be that fascinated by it. I definitely saw like there was a lot of potential. There was a lot of creativity in certain parts of the world building, but it just wasn't enough for me to connect with it, and I didn't particularly enjoy the writing. So this is, I don't know, 2.5 star for me. Not terrible, I just really personally did not enjoy it. It also felt like incredibly YA, which not a problem. It just, I'm not the target audience. I'm not a YA reader. I don't enjoy these books, so they never end up being something that I strive to pick up or that I care about. Whenever I read YA lately, I feel like I always give it some lower ratings, so you know, take with that what you will, but this just was not the book for me. The edition is gorgeous, so that makes me, honestly, it always makes me feel worse when the edition is gorgeous, and I did not like the book because now, like, I'm gonna keep this on my shelf. I'm gonna keep owning this edition because this is beautiful and I love it, but I kind of don't want to keep books that I didn't enjoy, and yeah, now I'm gonna feel kind of weird about owning this on my shelf. The next book that I'll be picking up is Lies We Sing to the Sea, and I will check back in a bit.
And it hit different when you feel the energy, and I'm a lot of energy for enemy. I keep the peace, I let the hate be rest in peace. I take it from the streets and bring it to the beach, and it don't gotta end, just put it on repeat. Though you don't trust what you can't see, some things are left to believe in. I just wanna know you believe me. You got nothing good in life would be this easy. You don't trust what you can't see, but some things are too good to believe in. I just wanna know you believe me, yeah. How could I lie to you? Don't fake this, I promise we can make it. You trust me, for sure, you'll be alright. I know we have patience. Don't fake this, I promise we can make it. You trust me, for sure, you'll be alright. I know.
Hanky, look here, buddy. I'm not sure how bad the noise will be, but let's see. So you can see IKEA's in the background, just sitting here in the car for a bit. So we're just sitting in the parking lot of IKEA while my partner's in shopping because we had an inspection on our house tonight, so we had to be out for a few hours. And this little guy, we can't bring anywhere, so we just have to sit in the car with him. I did start reading Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood today, and I don't know, 50-ish pages in. So this is some kind of Greek retelling. I'm not sure exactly what story it is, but we're following the kingdom of Ithaca, which has a curse on it. So every year 12 maidens are sacrificed to Poseidon into the sea, and we're following a girl who was one of those people who were sacrificed, and something happened where she didn't end up actually dying the way she was supposed to. So she went into the sea and washed up on this magical island, and was told that the second part of the curse that actually took place is 12 of these daughters throughout hundreds of years who are supposed to be drowned have come back to life, and each one of them has to go kill a prince of the kingdom. So the true curse is that 12 princes have to die. And the girl that we're following, Letta, she is the 12th maiden to come back to life and has to kill the 12th prince. So that's basically just where I am so far, and yeah, we're just kind of learning about this curse and the fact that she actually has to go kill the prince, and yeah, that's about it. I'm not really enjoying the writing that much. I'm finding this like really, really boring, to be honest, and it's been incredibly hard to get into, unfortunately. So I don't know, I just like am not enjoying the read so far because it just is not that interesting. And I've read a lot of Greek retellings that I've really enjoyed, and something about the writing of this one is just like so stark and so bland. Buddy. Yeah, and I just like am really, really not getting into it. I'm like, yeah, not that interested in the story, not that interested in what's happening, and yeah, I'm hoping it gets better, but so far it's really seeming like it's not gonna be that great. just finished Lies We Sing to the Sea, and immediately just gonna say, did not enjoy it. Did not find it great, did not find it entertaining. I was bored throughout most of it, and I'm gonna give it like a 2.5 stars, 2.5 if I'm generous. It really was not that interesting or great. So we are following, I think I described it a bit in the previous clip, where there is this curse on the land of Ithaca where every year 12 maidens are sacrificed to the sea to appease the god Poseidon. And there is a secret layer to the curse that ultimately 12 princes have to be murdered because of these 12 maidens who are sacrificed every year throughout hundreds of years. 12 of them come back to life, and each one of them has to kill a prince. So we are following a woman who had been sacrificed, came back to life. She is the 12th of these maidens to come back, and she is tasked with killing the 12th prince. So her decision on how to do this is she is going to infiltrate the court and pretend to be a foreign princess who is coming in to be betrothed to the prince. And up till that point, it was a decent story just because it was still really laying the groundwork. There wasn't anything terrible up to that point. I didn't enjoy the writing, but that also, things could have gotten better. But I found once this maiden got to the palace as she's impersonating a princess, it became so stupid and melodramatic. So she's pretending to be a princess who's betrothed to the prince. They're maybe starting to have some kind of relationship, and she suddenly decides, oh no, I can't kill him. Like, he's not terrible. I can't, I might have feelings for him, blah, blah, blah. Then at the same time, there is a potential sapphic relationship between this maiden and for another cursed girl who is, I'm not sure how best to describe her. I guess she is a messenger, or not a messenger. She's a servant of Poseidon, and she's there to guide all of the drowned maidens and help them fulfill this task of killing the princess. So it's like this really stupid love triangle between the three of them deciding oh no, we can't kill this prince, we have to figure out something else to do. And it was just really uninteresting, and really did not do anything that I cared about. The plot itself just felt weirdly simplistic, but also convoluted in certain ways, in that nothing was explained properly except for random scenes that were way over explained for no reason whatsoever. I felt there was this mysterious curse, and it kept giving contradictory and also the most vague information ever about what it actually entailed. And the characters themselves were just so ridiculously flat. They had nothing interesting about them, and they just could have been anyone. They were deeply boring. I just did not really like any part of this. I think this was definitely one of the most boring Greek retellings that I've ever seen or I've ever read. And speaking of this, there's actually some controversy that I've discovered about the author. So apparently she said in an interview that this is supposed to be a retelling of the Odyssey, yet she claimed that she's never read it. She's never actually read the Odyssey, but all of her inspiration / source material came from the Percy Jackson series. So this interview is now deleted, but a lot of people online are saying that this is what she claimed, and are incredibly upset over the fact that she decided to do a retelling based on something that she herself had never actually read. So this is done. Unfortunately, this second book is another really big disappointment. So this is 2 stars. I decided I'm going to settle on 2 stars. And then Song of Silver, Flame Like Night, 2.5. I'm really not feeling good about the Illumicrate books so far this year. In the last installation that I did, I can't remember, but I think I gave a 3-star. I think I gave 2 3s and a 2, a 3, and a 4-star. And this is really making me not feel good about the books that we've been getting this year. I'm really starting to question if I should actually keep up this subscription, because I love having these editions. I love having them on my shelves. I get incredibly excited to get these books, but if I continue to rate all of them this lowly, I don't know if I can necessarily justify it in my mind. And maybe I just need to be a bit more flexible with the skip option, because you are able to skip a certain number of books per year. So I think I maybe just like actually have to look into the books that are coming out every month and decide if it's actually something I would find interesting, because I'm not feeling happy about how this has been going so far. So I have one book left and I'm feeling a little bit hopeful about this one. I'm desperately hoping that this one will be better. And it's a sci-fi, so, you know, maybe changing up the genre will change up the entire vibe of this video. But the next one we are reading is Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. Beautiful edition. Actually, this is giving like all the space vibes. Love it. And yeah, I'm gonna start reading this and then I'll check in with my thoughts, and let's really, really hope that this one's gonna be better. Okay, it's time for a reading update and a haul. So I have my Fairy Loot combo box. So this is the first month that I'm getting it, where I'm getting the young adult and adult book in book only boxes together. I had canceled my young adult box a while ago, but then have bought like every edition secondhand since then. So I decided might as well just start getting it again. So let's take a look at this. So the first book, which was the YA book for, I think this is May, is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. Here's the edges. And let's look at the inside. So this is the hardback and then the artwork inside. I've read several books by Rebecca Ross and really enjoyed them so far, but let's read the description of this one right now. When two rival journalists find love through a magical connection, their fate depends on their facing the depths of hell together. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again. All 18-year-old Iris Winnow wants is to hold her family together. With a brother forced to fight on behalf of the gods now missing from the front line, and a mother drowning her sorrows, Izzy's best bet is winning the columnist promotion at the Oath Gazette. But when Iris's letters to her brother fall into the wrong hands, those of handsome but cold Roman Kit, her rival at the paper, an unlikely magical connection form. Expelled into the middle of the mystical war, typewriters in tow, can their bond withstand the fight for the fate of mankind, and most importantly, love. Okay. I am interested to see how this goes. And the adult book that we got is The Curse of Saints by Kate Dramis. I haven't heard anything about this one. I've heard absolutely nothing about what this book is actually about. Ooh, looks like maybe an enemies to lover. And then this is the naked hardback. Very, very pretty. So the description of this one. Has she been sent to save the realm or destroy it? As spymaster to the queen, Aya's blood oath ensures that she protects those she fights alongside, including Will, the queen's enforcer, and Aya's bitter rival. When rumors of dark magic rise in a nearby kingdom, both are sent to investigate. But when Aya's power acts beyond her god's given affinity, she risks being turned into a weapon in a war she doesn't know how to win. And when her relationship with Will unexpectedly shifts, neither knows the damage that will follow. Okay. Cool. I am definitely interested and can't wait to get to either of these. And then I also have a PR package from Parade, so let's open this up. So I just got sent 2 bras from them. What are these? These are the Scoop bralettes. I tried one of these a while ago and really loved it, so I decided to grab 2 more, and they sent the option for me to pick out like what I wanted for PR this month. So I just got it in black and as well in just a nude shade. So there we go. These are fantastic. And if you want to ever save from Parade, because I do think they're pretty great, you can use my code Kat..lipsticklife. I'll put it here, and you get, I believe, 15% off your order. And then, as I was saying, I do have some reading updates. So I started reading Some Desperate Glory. My edition's downstairs, and I don't feel like going to grab it right now, but I am 90 pages into it, and I am like so ridiculously happy to say that we finally have a winner, and I'm really predicting that this is going to be like a 5-4, maybe 5-star read, which feels so good finally after like the absolute duds that we've been having so far. So a bit about this book. We are following characters who live on this space station, and this is in a generation following this devastating war from Earth against this alien race. Not really an alien race, they're like an alien empire which encompasses several different races, and this empire Empire basically waged war against the humans and they won. And the result of that, so we're following, was Earth being destroyed. This space station, they proclaim themselves as the last outpost of free humans, because there's humans who live within the Empire currently, but they are very much under this alien control and subject to their rule. So because this is such a small space station, and it's not necessarily like the most cutting edge technology at the same time, the people who live there live like a very strict life. They are, as children, they are raised in this nursery, and then they spend the next several years in cohorts of training groups who are trained to be warriors. But at the age of 18, you are given an assignment. So one of them could be a warrior, you could be a general laborer, which can be like maintenance staff, a cook, or a lot of the women are assigned to the nursery. So that means they are subject to giving birth to a child every 2 years to continue the human race. And once you are given an assignment, you have absolutely no choice of what you are able to do. So we're following Kier, who is one of these teenagers about to turn 18 and about to be given her assignment in life. She has a twin brother who is a very well respected warrior in training, and it's very much anticipated that he is going to be one of the most glorious warriors out there. And Kier has spent her entire life training to be a warrior. It is her goal. She has put literally her everything into being the absolute best warrior that she can be, and she does nothing but train. So when the assignments come out, she is unfortunately given an assignment to become one of the nursery women, because they have identified that her brother is such a strong warrior and she is the best of her year. So instead of wasting her as someone who might die, why not force her to have dozens of children and continue this warrior genes. She is very visibly upset about this and is trying to find any way out of it, but basically her only option is to desert, and she very deeply believes in the politics. She very deeply believes in the mission of her people and will not do so. So where we're at also, she just discovered that her brother, it is said now that he was given the prize assignment, but he declined it and decided to desert. But she knows her brother well, and she knows that there's absolutely no way he would have done this. There's no way he would have done this and then not say goodbye to her. So she enlists one of his friends who is known to be a hacker, and they hack into the intelligence of the system and discover that in fact he was sent on essentially a suicide mission. So he was sent to go bomb this gathering of humans who are firm believers of the alien empire. And basically where we're at right now is she has learned this and has decided that she cannot let him do it because it's going to be a pointless mission and he will die. So she has to find a way to get out of the station and convince him to do something else. So this has been really, really great so far. But there's definitely a lot of potential trigger warnings. The author had stated that this is kind of for a purpose. So one of them, this radicalization, that this man believes that a suicide mission is something that is for the right of his people, and that he believes that this is the only way to continue the human race. And there's also a lot of very homophobic language that's being used specifically by our main character. In this station, because there's so few free humans left, they are really taught from birth that if you are not willing to further the human race, if you are not willing to drop everything, you are a traitor, essentially. So part of this belief for her is that if you are perhaps gay, that means that you are not willing to add your genes into the pool to continue the race, and she thinks you are deeply selfish and there is something deeply wrong with you. And part of the issue with this is that her brother's friend who she enlisted is in fact gay, and she is really struggling with this realization that he is not in fact a bad person. And we are really following her. I'm hoping what continues on in this book is that she realizes that this is part of this radicalization that the station has really instilled into her. that they've really instilled into her mind. So I'm hoping that she goes on a bit of a personal journey to realize that everything the station has taught is not in fact true, and there are other ways to think about the world, and people who have other views than her own are not wrong. So I do believe that a lot of this language that's been used is very much for that purpose, but it is very upsetting to read, and obviously that's the point of it, is we're meant to see what this station is teaching is not right, and we're meant to be upset by it as well, but it is hard to read sometimes. So a little over halfway through the book right now, and I'm still really enjoying it. It has really gotten into some intense topics, and that's like and it's just like making it so interesting. There's so many things about like this absolute brainwashing that this group has done against all of its children soldiers, and how it has convinced them that this alien race that runs this like huge empire is the absolute enemy of Earth, and that they have to get vengeance no matter what for the destruction of their planet. Like, even if maybe there's more at play, you know, like it wasn't a simple cut and dry decision for this war against the aliens that Earth had gone through. So it's really interesting. And it's like our main character, she's very much like, no matter what she's being told and no matter how much proof she's being presented on, like the info that she's been told has been wrong, she will not accept it, and she cannot like get past this like indoctrination that she has in her head and how deeply she believes in this cause. So a lot of crazy shit just happened, like a lot of really insane climaxes and like crazy destruction of civilization almost. And now Valkyr, she is realizing how terrible what just happened is and how wrong it is, all of this stuff that happened. So she is actually basically going back in time and trying to set things right. So I'm really confused about this, but there is this like central wisdom that controls the empire, and it's like this computer thing that basically is able to see the future of everything, and it has some kind of like multi-dimension ability, and yeah, like I'm really confused about it, but through it they have time lapses and they're able to take advantage of these to go back into time. So she is right now going back into time to try and reverse a bunch of damage that she and her companion did because she didn't realize like how wrong it actually is. Yeah, still enjoying it like a really significant amount, and definitely hoping I can finish it today because I've kind of been slacking on my reading lately.
I could be a sunshine. Not gonna stop until we collide. I could be your sunshine. Every time you get in my, baby, give me a raise. Give me a raise. Every time you get in my, living for lazy days, up in a daze. Ooh, driving down the floor.
So just finished reading some Desperate Glory. Just this doesn't have the dust jacket on it, but oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. So I think when I last left off, I was saying about how Valkyr was trying to go back in time to right this like huge wrong that had been done, and this huge like almost cosmic mess up of the world. And so that ends up just like sending the book in a completely different direction than I expected. So basically from there, we are exploring like parallel universes, and she's trying to like go through and correct, like she travels through a few different alternate realities and tries to fix this like huge mess up and get things right for humanity. And that, like, it really went in such a direction that I was not expecting, but I absolutely loved it. And the ending, so incredibly satisfying, so interesting. And I deeply love this one. I'm so happy that like finally there's a win for this vlog, because first two books give me a terrible energy, but this one, oh my god, it was fantastic. The character arc that Valkyr goes through, so interesting. She really just realizes like how much she'd lived through this indoctrination of all this propaganda on the station that she was in, and how it was basically just some madman who was controlling the station and teaching people what he believed, and that is not necessarily what actually, or what should actually be believed, that it shouldn't just be all war all the time. You should actually care about people. And I loved it. It was really great. I am so happy with it. I'm gonna give it a 4-star. It wasn't like quite a 5-star, but it was really fantastic, and I'm so happy that I finally found one that I loved. So with that, I am officially done this vlog. It was definitely an interesting time, or definitely interesting this time around, to see how many of these books did not work for me. And when we look at the results from this week versus the first installation I did of reading my illumicrate vlog books, the majority of them are under 3 stars, which I really did not think was going to be the case. So far I've had, out of 6 books that I've read, I've had 2 4 stars, 1 3, and 3 2 stars. So that is ridiculous. That is very disappointing, and I really did not realize how bad a lot of these stats are for me. So I'm kind of reevaluating like if I actually should be keeping illumicrate, because clearly not as many of the books are working for me as I thought they would. I'm going to be keeping it for the rest of the year for sure, but like I think at the end of the year I'm definitely going to have to take a look and see what I'm actually thinking about these, because yeah, that's very disappointing that I am not enjoying so many of these books. So that is all for today. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Comment below if you've read any of these ones and what you thought about them. And hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.